Before we get started, I just wanted to go on ahead and thank BricksToLife.com and BricksToLife on Twitter for the images used in this Blitz News update. Well, would you look at that? What's going on, everybody? My name is Blitzwinger, and ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new Blitz News update. And my goodness, did we get some awesome news today from New York Comic Con 2017. Of course, they held their LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2 panel in which we got a whole bunch of new character reveals, but that is not the only thing that I want to talk about. Not just the character reveals, but also the confirmation of several other elements in the game, such as, for example, the confirmation of the Season Pass, which I kind of obviously predicted yesterday because, well, it was a pretty obvious hint given from Arthur. So now we got the official confirmation of it, but we also learned some other really interesting details about the game as well. And I want to definitely touch on that as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with those and then work our way towards the new character reveals, which look tremendously cool. And I hope that, of course, you guys go on ahead and check that out as well. So with that in mind, let's get rocking rolling. The number one detail I want to discuss is the fact that during the panel, they of course confirmed that they are going to go on ahead and have a season pass, which we knew of prior to that. But the content of the season pass has now been actually told to us. So it will include 6 level packs, which I think makes this either the largest season pass that we've gotten so far, or I think it's on par with The Force Awakens. And the LEGO Batman 3 actually had quite a few levels as well as downloadables. I remember that. Like there was an Arrow pack and there was a Lantern pack, I think, and there was a couple of others. So it is interesting that we are going to get 6 levels. So that is really, really, really awesome. But apart from those 6 levels, what are they going to be based on? Well, they're going to be inspired by the content from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is very cool, the Black Panther film. Now, keep in mind, when I say they are going to be inspired, that's what we were told. We weren't told that they were going to be based on those, so it doesn't mean that you're going to play like a section from those movies. You might be, but all we were told was the fact that you're going to play levels that are inspired by that content. So it could contain something that we saw in those films or something that has to do with those films. So either way, I think that will be exciting. So let's carry on. We had the Black Panther announcement as well. Then we've got Avengers Infinity War as well, Ant-Man and the Wasp. And here are the 2 surprises, at least in my personal opinion, as far as like the 5th and 6th reveals. And that is Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways. Like, who would have thunk that? Like, honestly, that is incredibly cool because that kind of goes from the super duper ultra mainstream of Avengers Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Black Panther, Ant-Man and the Wasp, to then something so specific to the comic book fans of Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways. The average person does not know about those properties. So it's very cool that we are going to get access to them and they are going to be included in the actual game. Now, here is another element that was discussed, which seems pretty cool. I am actually really intrigued to see how will all of that unfold, because we were told that there was going to be around, I think, 208 characters Arthur confirmed during the panel, so 208 playable characters, but, and here's a big but, and that does not include the 60 plus characters that are going to be included in the season pack DLCs, which sounds insanely cool. So if we have 6 packs of DLC, of course, with 6 levels, you would assume that there's probably around 10 characters each. Now, keep in mind, we do have to remember that there is that pre-order and the extra pack that you get of the classic Guardians of the Galaxy. So maybe that is why that number is above 60. Maybe each one of these is not going to come with 10 characters, but either way, the fact that the season pass is going to contain 60 plus characters is absolutely incredibly cool. Like, I am very, very surprised, pleasantly surprised, I should say, by just how many characters we're going to be getting through that season pass. So from there, let's go on ahead and discuss the character announcements, because oh man, were there a lot of them. So let's go on ahead and run through them. So first and foremost, we have Valkyrie, who is super duper stylish, and of course she is going to be playing a factor in Thor Ragnarok, so it makes sense that she would be included in the game as well. Speaking of Thor Ragnarok, we also have the Grand Master, who's looking very, very cool, and obviously they look to the design that we see in the film. Oh my gosh, what's the actor's name? How could I forget his name? The guy from Jurassic. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I just completely blanked on the name. So either way, it's the Grandmaster design. Then we've got Arizona Annie. So I'm sure that will be probably one of the characters that is in the Western worlds. I don't know, maybe I'm jumping to conclusions here, but it would seem that she would fit that design. Even with the pictures that we saw of her reveal, it would make sense. Then we had Captain Avalon, which I was very surprised by because, again, a very unknown character and a character that you don't really hear very much about. So sort of surprising there. Then we've got Squirrel Girl, of course. She has been... Wait, was she in LEGO Marvel Superheroes? I don't believe so. I think she was actually introduced in LEGO Marvel Avengers. Well, actually, maybe she was in LEGO Marvel Superheroes as well, the first one. I can't remember. I honestly cannot remember. Either way, though, we also get Chipmunk Hunk and Koi Boy, so that is very, very, very cool. Then we get Luke Cage in his noir attire, so I'm sure that will be a character that we meet in the Manhattan Noir version, so that will be quite exciting. Along with him, we also see a reveal of Misty Knight, which was very, very cool to see. I remember when they did the when they did the Marvel Legends figure of her, I was very surprised that we got a character or a figure of her because, well, she's not a particularly well-known character, so it's very cool to see that, and then boom, now she's in the game as well, so that's very, very neat to see. Then we've got Blade, who's an absolute sauce boss. He is absolutely awesome. We've got Phantom Rider, which is just a beautiful, beautiful looking minifigure. I really love the design on this thing. It looks tremendously awesome. It honestly looks like somebody just made a custom, but it just looks super duper sweet and very, very, very cool, just aesthetically speaking. Really interested to see how that character will play in the game. Speaking of characters and how they will play in the game, we saw Dormammu finally. Of course, we got a confirmation of him yesterday when Arthur was on the Twitch live stream, but now we got obviously a much nicer quality image of the character, so that is very, very, very cool to see, and he's looking great. It looks like they obviously went for the comic book design since, well, we didn't really see him in any type of reasonable scale in the film of Doctor Strange, but I actually do think it would be really cool if Dormammu could turn into a giant minifigure or big fig, I guess, just so that you could kind of mess around with the scale of that character, since that's usually something he does anyways. Then we have Ghost Rider, who is the Johnny Blaze version, which is pretty cool. I wonder if the distinction of them saying that this is Johnny Blaze, does that mean that we're going to get the other Ghost Rider characters that have been there? So I'm very, very intrigued by that, because it would be obviously really cool to see that new car, the flaming car vehicle, available as well. Then we've got Morbius, who's looking super duper awesome, and another Spider-Man character. We've got Red Wolf, which is awesome, along with Living Totem as well. Again, two I don't want to say completely obscure characters, but let's be honest, those are not the characters that anybody would think of as like A-list characters and characters that you would know off the top of your head. I mean, I don't know who these characters are, and I feel like I follow Marvel and comic books in general pretty closely, so when they can stump me, I'm kind of like, whoa, okay, that is awesome, because we're getting some characters that are from the far reaches of the comic book universe. Then after that, we have Super Adaptoid, which makes sense that they would do a figure of this guy since Lego actually released him in a real set, so I understand why we would get a character of him in the game as well, so that only makes sense. Then we've got Ursa Major, who looks incredibly awesome, very cool design, pretty much just a big giant bear that is ready to smash and bash his way to victory. Then we've got Hobgoblin, which I'm very, very happy about, because I actually prefer the character of Hobgoblin to the Green Goblin, which I know is probably going to be very controversial, but honestly, I just think he's a more intriguing character. Then we've got Charlie 27, but keep in mind, the character of Charlie 27 was specifically announced as a part of the Guardians DLC, so, you know, the way to get that DLC is by getting either the Deluxe Edition, or I think is it a pre-order bonus? I think so as well. So even if you don't get the Deluxe Edition, I'm pretty sure if you pre-ordered the game, I mean, you'd have to double check that, but you would be able to go on ahead and get that character unlocked, or not just him, along with a couple of other characters in the Retro Guardians DLC pack. Then we have Hulk 2099, which, I mean, really? I did not expect to see this character in here. Hulk 2099 straight up looks like a crossover between Lizard and Hulk, and that's a good thing. Like, he just looks super duper crazy and very, very, very cool. Then we had Hell Cow, which I mean, Hell Cow. It's a cow that is a vampire. It's Hell Cow. I mean, really, that's a character we're going to get to play as. At last, but certainly not least, we have Lady Spider, who looks very cool. I like the kind of makeshift feel of the costume, but I also really, really like that they have the spider arms on the back. However, the headpiece is actually, or the neck piece is properly painted to match the legs. So I think that that looks super duper nice. So with all that in mind, ladies and gents, well, there you have it. That is the entirety of the update for Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. I mean, there was a ton of fantastic reveals, not only about the game itself, such as the amount of characters that are going to be expected to be in the game. So if my math is correct, I mean, they said 60 plus characters. So that means it's obviously 60 or more, but less than 70, because they would have said 70 plus. And then 208 characters in the core game. So that means we're probably going to work with around, like, let's say 268 characters up to 278 characters in the game, which is insanely cool. And that is, of course, accounting for all the DLCs that are going to be available for the game. 6 extra levels. That sounds cool. The bunch of characters that we got revealed. So I'm super duper uber stoked to go on ahead and dive into this game. Thank you guys so very much for watching today's update. Of course, like always, don't forget to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace out. See you later, alligators. Bye-bye, everyone.